we got ourselves a new NWHL team after all these years. You know, the third time's the charm, I guess. So at first there was the speculation, there was a rumor reported in the AP article about possible expansion. So they said they wouldn't announce it until the end of the month, but instead they actually announced it this week, which is, I guess it's kind of the end of the month now. But anyway, so they announced the NWHL's. It's not their first expansion team, but it kind of is. Like the Whitecaps were an expansion team, but also they were kind of a team that was their own separate thing, and they got added on. So I guess it's their first true expansion team, I guess, and their first foray into Canada after two other attempts from the past. So in the past, like they tried to announce a Montreal and Toronto expansion team after the very first inaugural Isabel Cup game, and I guess. You know, when I first saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's exciting, expansion. But then like I got to think about it for a few minutes, and it was like, wait a minute, Toronto and Montreal, but you know, they have the Toronto and Montreal teams in the CWHL, the Furies and the Le Canadiens. And it's like, I was kind of thinking at the time, I was thinking like, well, you know, they could have said Ottawa and Quebec City, but they just went straight for Toronto and Montreal, you know, and like, I think.
Or even go on a wing in Nova Scotia even, yeah.
Yeah. But then I think Danny Ryland, after that, she said something like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people graduating next year, you know, at the time. So that was kind of her reasoning. And then it just kind of faded off. They didn't really expand. Yeah, and then, of course, a few years later, when the unfortunate folding of the CWHL happened, you know, that was unfortunate. And I was like, oh, sad. Because I got to see my first and last CWHL game that year. It was a Toronto Furies home game, and I got this shirt from there too. And I know you and Billy saw the Clarkson Cup final, so it's like we got to experience the CWHL game, and then it folded. You know, we didn't want it to happen, but you know, I think everybody thought like, well, at least there could be like some good to come out of this. You know, maybe everybody can play in the same league now. So the NWHL announced, yeah, we're going to try to expand to Toronto and Montreal. You know, it was their second attempt, and of course, then came the PWHPA. You know, they were kind of like, oh, not so fast, NWHL. You know, it's like, and then we won't get into like the PWHPA NWHL thing too much. So we're just gonna really talk about the expansion team for now. But so yeah, now is their finally is their third attempt. This is their third attempt to try to expand to Toronto, not with Montreal this time, but just Toronto. And I guess hopefully third time's the charm. And immediately, like before it was announced, they said in the AP article and such, they said like, oh, Digit Murphy's going to be the one taking over as. Well, I thought it was going to be head coach at first, but they actually just said she's building a team, and it turned out when they announced the team, it was going to be she actually is the president, not even GM. It's like not coach, not GM, but the president of the team. So then a GM and coach will be hired later, I guess, and. And another interesting thing is that it's all female leadership, and we'll get to their names later because I can't think of them off the top of my head. But
yeah, me neither.
But let's take a quick pause. Let me pull those names up real quick. A lot of times as fans, you know, we don't think about the ownership too much. We just think about we'll think about the GM and the coach, but we're not really like all up into thinking about who owns the team or whatever. Like we're not used to that. It's kind of like when you're watching movies, you might think about the actors and the directors, but you don't really think about, you know, you don't think about everybody else.
Special effects, the animators,
you don't think about the grip,
the composers, so on, the stunt coordinator, so on, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you don't think about all them. So let me go on ahead and pull this up. So Toronto CWHL, I mean NWHL. Gosh, I don't want to say that. That makes me sad. All right, So Tyler Taminia is the chairman. And chairman is such a confusing word when you're trying to actually think about it and pronounce it. Is it chairman or chairman or chairwoman in this case? Johanna Nielsen Boynton, who is the CEO and co-founder of Boynton Brennan Builders. So you have all women in charge, you know. And I said we wouldn't get into the PWHPA too much, but you know, I guess. The PWHPA, it seems like if you're going to take a wild guess, it's like, say the NWHL folds, you know, the PWHPA, everybody thinks that, you know, they're probably going to look to the NHL to to try to, you know, get a actual league going, I guess. You know, that's the men of the hockey business. So it's like, I don't know if that's what they would really I don't know if they really would just resort to the NHL. That's my guess is what they would do. But in this case, you know, the NWHL, despite not having, you know, Olympians and all that, they're kind of like going with this mindset like the women should be in charge, you know, and all that stuff. It's a little blown out. So yeah, I mean, that's, again, you know, you and me have talked about like, oh, we see everything both ways. We see things from the PWHPA's angle, but also the NWHL's angle. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think, do you have any opinions between like, you know, having all women take, you know, having everything be led by women because it's a women's hockey league, or should we actually think the NHL needs to step in at some point, or one, you know? So I kind of fumbled on my question, but yeah, you get what I'm asking, right?
No, I get you, yes, but it's not black and white in this situation because there's no perfect answer. As much as I would like a perfect answer, but the fact is, neither side has all the know-how to do it because each side is used to running it a certain way, and the fact is, they have to come down the middle somewhere,
right?
Where they can find mutual ground. And again, you have to see all the cards that are laid on the table before you make that decision. We can't just jump to conclusions and say, oh, but what route? We run an entire women's league powered by women, aspiring women, accomplished women. But at the same time, you're completely alienating another fan base if you do just that. And we strictly go by the tried and true method. We, let's say the NHL, like you were saying, we close off certain avenues to fresh ideas. Well, I mean, you and I have experienced ourselves. All the best ideas in the world were deemed crazy, unconventional, implausible, all that kind of stuff too. We had no idea where it would go. I mean, I would like to see some fresh ideas. I would like to see some tried and true methods. But again, how this is going to turn out is that anyone's guess.
Yeah, when you say refreshing or fresh ideas, it's like, yeah, you know, one of the big reasons I'm a fan of the women's side of hockey is because I've experienced so many things I've never had before, and it's like, I also feel like there's a lot of opportunity for just innovation, you know, like, you know, a lot of people talk about breaking barriers and such, you know, to me, that kind of means like, oh, we're doing what the men have already done, but innovation, like I want to see kind of women's hockey do what men's hockey hasn't done, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is, you're right. There's no clear answer because you have, I mean, really, I'm kind of interested to see where the PWHPA goes and where the NWHL goes, because the PWHPA right now, they're kind of going to cities where you don't really get the pro women's hockey too much. So I like that. But the NWHL, you know, they are a league. They're not a perfect league. You know, they're not, you know, as the WHPA has made clear, you know, they've talked about insurance stuff and all that kind of stuff, pregame, you know, the technology, the meals. So, yeah, I mean, there definitely is no clear path, but yeah, you kind of just have to wait and see what it is. And I don't know if I like to be innovative myself, but I guess as far as the hockey people are concerned, you know, I'll let them take care of that, and I'll just be a fan and watch what happens, you know. I'll try to be innovative with this podcast or something, or whatever movies I make. But yeah, so another thing is, again, as far as the leadership, you got Digit Murphy, who was coaching. She played at Cornell when she was in college, and kind of around that same time where Gretzky was a rookie, you know, like I think she played from like 79 to, you know, 4 years later, 82 or 83. And then she coached Brown University from 1989 to 2011. And 1989, I was a newborn at that time. In 2011, fast forward all the way then, I was a year removed from graduating college. So like, that's pretty mind blowing to think about that. She coached the program for 20 years. And honestly, I don't know. And you'll hear her say this herself, like women's hockey just didn't have the exposure back then. So I don't know what kind of games, I don't know if they're what the big games are from that history of that program during her time. Like, I don't know what the big come from behind wins were when they were down like 4-0 or 3-0 or what legendary. I don't even know if they won any championships or anything. But yeah, so she coached at Brown for all those years, and I think after that she coached at she did coach in the CWHL eventually. I think she coached the Boston Blades before she coached the let's see, Boston played 2013. Yeah, man, you had all the Casey Bellamy's, the Hillary Knights, Erica Lawlers, Genevieve Lacasse. You have all these recognizable like USA and Canada names. Even Katarzyna Mrazova was on that 2013 team. And let's see, 2015. Yep, she was the head coach then when I think they won that year in 2015 before they all jumped ship to the Boston Pride. So,
Yeah.
and then after that she coached Kunlun Red Star when they brought the 2 China teams in, and that was the year we had 2 of them, and then they merged the next year after that. And she even it looks like she coached China's U18 team as well as China's senior team. So yeah, and now she's not going to be the coach of the new Toronto team, but she's going to be the president. So, I mean, what do you think do you have any ideas of what she might bring as a president? Like, she's been a coach all these years, but now she's just not coach, not GM, but president. Like, what kind of experience might she bring to this new Canadian team?
I mean, honestly, it's anyone's guess. I mean, it's interesting to see her in a higher position of power and having more say in the matter. Though I do like seeing her as a coach being more interpersonal. Again, I've had the pleasure of meeting her at a certain events, such as when we were in Pyeongchang, Korea, watching the Winter Olympics. Ironically, she was sitting right behind me and took pictures.
Oh, wow. She was there. Nice.
Yeah. Because they saw Billy and I, and wearing my Boston Pride hat, wearing but I think it was a Casey Bellamy or Brianne Decker's jersey that Billy was wearing. I was wearing a Hillary Knight jersey, and she even made a post of us on Twitter, like, oh wow, yeah. So the fact that she gave us the time of day and gave us recognition.
Awesome.
Certain times I've had the pleasure of greeting her during a Kunlun Red Star game back when she was still a coach there. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what she could bring to the table in a position of higher, say, responsibility and influence.
Yeah, like she's not going to be the coach, but she'll hire a coach and she'll hire a GM. It's like, yeah, man. Well, I mean, if you were coaching for 20 years and longer than that, like you've coached multiple teams, it's like even a national team, it's like, well, she should be a president of some team by now for sure. Yeah. And I think as a women's side of hockey fan, I think I first started hearing about her, I think when she started coaching KRS. Like, I don't think I heard of her before that, but I immediately kind of started liking, I kind of immediately became a fan, like, oh yeah, who's this Digit Murphy person, you know, she's going to bring loads of experience, years of experience. It's pretty crazy. So it's good to have her involved in the Toronto team. And I'll tell you what, one thing I can say for sure will probably happen is she'll probably have a training camp of 37 players because Title IX only has 37 words. Look it up. Okay, yeah, I got that joke in. So,
yeah.
So yeah, man, and of course Cheyenne Darkangelo. Let's talk about some of the players that have already signed with the team. So Cheyenne Darkangelo is the name that pops out the most because she has been on the U.S. national team, but even when she's not on the U.S. national team, you know, she's always a good player to look to. I gotta think of these hockey terms. Yeah, she's a good player to build around. She's just a good player, man. That's what I know about her, and she has a really cool name as well. But so yeah, that's a good get. You know, Cheyenne actually, when Cheyenne Darkangelo graduated from Quinnipiac, she actually was on a different team every year. She was on the Whale at first, which is in Connecticut, of course, and then she was on the Buttes and helped that team win the Isabel Cup, and then she was one of the people that joined the KRS Red Star Kunlun team when they came in, and then she was on the Toronto Furies after that, and then she was on PWHPA, so now she's going to be on another Toronto team in the NWHL. So that is literally a different team or a different something every single year. And I actually got her autograph. I have her Whale jersey, right? And I got her autograph at that Furies game I was telling you about last year. And like the thing about it is that it just seems like so long ago now because she's been on so many different teams. So like I thought that was kind of cool while I was getting her autograph and all that and wearing that jersey to the game. But yeah, so you have Cheyenne Darkangelo, who was on the Furies a couple of seasons ago. So when you get Cheyenne Darkangelo, that means you're also going to get Elaine Chilly, the goalie. who was on the same team as her for the last couple of years. And then you have Emma Greco, which I don't know much about her, but I know she's not related to Jackie Greco from the Buttes. And I think there's a men's hockey player named Anthony Greco, and I don't know if any of those people are related. So, yeah. So
I have to look that up. Doesn't immediately come to the top of my head.
But yeah, so, and then the other two players are former Markham Thunder players. You got Kristen Barbara, which I don't know. I always thought her hair was like lightning or something. So like, I always thought she was a good fit for a Thunder. I don't know. Kristen Barbara sounds like an electrifying name. Like, I don't know. But that's as much as I know about her. And then, all right. So yeah, the other Thunder player they got is Taylor Woods, and I don't know too much about her, but I know she's been releasing a lot of workout videos, I guess, Instagram stories during this quarantine. So, but yeah, you basically, so far, you just have a mix of Toronto Furies players and Thunder players. And again, it makes me wonder, like, if any of those players from the Buttes will play for Toronto instead of Buffalo, or if anybody just really wanted to live in Toronto and play for the NWHL, like, if any of them will go there. And then
I'll go on the wing, say retired players that have a Canadian background, say even some of them are like former Buttes or former Riv. You never know. I would like to see them come out of retirement, even if they're only a part-time player per se, rather than a full-time player.
Yeah. I mean, or especially if it's a player that lives in Toronto, you know, and it's like, well, this team's in my hometown, in my backyard. So, because we always thought, like, if they expanded to like a Pittsburgh team, we thought maybe Brandon McLaughlin and Kelly Stedman would come back, you know. So yeah, you never know what it would do, but yeah. So for right now, they're expanding to Toronto to kind of fill that void that the CWHL left, and it fills a little bit of the void, obviously not completely, but yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that should be interesting, and yeah, I think these are a good set of players. These first five are a good set to start off, and then yeah, they have a draft. The NWHL draft is actually starting on the 28th, I think, of this month, so not too long from now, a few days. And then they've already done free agent signings too, so I don't know. I guess that's just kind of a broad thing. It's just going to happen throughout the summer. Like, we'll see what happens when we'll see how that all unfolds. So, but yeah, as far as like players like, you know, the Olympian players like Sarah Nurse, Natalie Spooner, Lauren Gable, Emily Clark, like, they're probably going to, especially the Olympian players, are probably going to stick with the PWHPA type deal for now. I mean, Cheyenne D'Arcangelo, like I said, was on the U.S. team a few years ago, but it's been a while, so that's a little different for her. But Emily Clark and Lauren Gable, like, oh, you know, those are the top dogs. Those are the players that are kind of like staples in the national team right now. So we don't expect them to join from the PWHPA, but, you know, I do expect other players eventually to defect. I mean, it's happened a little bit here and there, like, you know, Jordan Juron or whoever. So it'll probably continue to happen a little by little. It's probably not going to be crazy, but you'll still have
more players than we know of are on the fence about it. They in sport, on one side they want to try and true method. At the same time, they want to be brave and bold and go for the high risk also.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, it's definitely an on the fence thing. And as we said, you know, we as fans see from both angles. So we as fans can not only do that, but also just see what happens next. You know, we got no control over nothing, but I guess if the PWHPA comes to St. Louis, then you guys can come out down and visit, and vice versa with Boston, you know. Yeah, man. And we got a great new facility here, you know, and another quick Toronto related story. So like when Lindenwood played the Syracuse team, they hosted them, and the Syracuse team like tweeted out something where they were watching like the St. Louis Blues practice, because the Blues practice at the facility as well. So they tweeted that out, and I guess they enjoyed that. But I talked to one of the dads of the Syracuse players while one of the games is going on, and he was like, oh yeah, my daughter's from Toronto, and I'm also going to go to the Blues Maple Leafs game tomorrow night. And I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, the Blues are playing the Maple Leafs the next night. You know, it's like that works out perfectly for that guy. Just like, but just like for me personally with the Nashville All-Star game, like the Blues played the Predators, and then the NWHL All-Star game followed right after that. So that was, you know, perfect for me. And the same thing happened with the Minnesota pre-Olympic series game we were at. They played the Blues played the Wild the night before. So yeah, sometimes things work out like that. But yeah, Maryland Heights facility is a good it's a good facility that brings the hockey community together, and of course all the players that were part of the the NHL 3-on-3 All-Star game, like Hillary Knight and all of them were there, and Hillary Knight said something like she stepped up to the podium and was like, oh yeah, this arena is amazing, like we got to make strides here or something. So like maybe that's a good hint that they might try to come might try to come for a PWHPA event. So yeah, I would definitely be all about that. So yeah, man. Oh, and then one more thing about players. I'll mention the current Ontario native Buttes players. So you have Meg DeLay, who was on the Markham Thunder. You have Cassidy McPherson. You have Candace Sheriff, who's also from Ontario. I think she played college at RIT. And then Taylor Kersey is an interesting one because she's kind of like a Buttes fan favorite, I would think. So it really makes you wonder, like, will she stay with the Buttes or will she go to Toronto?
Or out of the chance to further a career and broaden her horizon. Yeah, it's tough to say. We'll have to wait and see.
Definitely have to wait and see. But either way, she loves that there's a new Toronto team, I'm sure. You know, she gets to go back home, you know, have that rivalry, you know, sometimes. So, yeah, that's good. Then you got Kim Brown, Becky Bowering, and Maria Fujimagari. So, and Fujimagari is a goalie. And, of course, Toronto has a goalie right now in Elaine Chilly. So, like, will Maria join Elaine Chilly or will she stick with the Buttes? You know, that remains to be seen. But it's good to note that there are 6 Ontario players, or 7, or 6 or 7, you know. There's that many Ontario players that play for the Buttes right now. So we will see how that all unfolds. Oh, yeah, so potential, I guess we can think of potential team names. And this can kind of be like kind of a joke section, too. You know, we don't have to take it seriously. But I got some funny, like, the first name I thought of off the top of my head was the Toronto interviewers, because, like, you know how they say, like, the media is tough on the players for the Maple Leafs. So interviewers are the anchors, and then I have one that's like Bolt Fury, which is combines Thunder and Furies, and then I have Charms because the third time's the charm, and like it kind of sounds like it seems like the Toronto St. Pat's, they were kind of like had green jerseys, St. Patrick's themed jerseys, and also like the new Toronto team will charm some players back into the NWHL, right? Like the Shy Darks and the Lane Chilies and all that. And then I got other kind of joke names like the Drakes or the Degrassis, like, you know, stuff like that. And then, of course, I have the 37s because Title IX only has 37 words, but we'll let Digit Murphy decide on that one. Or they could borrow from the Maple Leafs former team names like the Toronto St. Pat's or the Toronto Arenas. But yeah, do you have any ideas of what their team name could be or anything like that?
It could be Canadian Geese for all I know, but hey, you never know. I would like to see them have something that would strong to their Canadian heritage, especially to their specific area, the region, and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like I don't know if they can even use the Furies again since that was a CWHL name, but I guess that's a possibility if it is a possibility. I didn't really like the Furies name at first, but then I guess when I went to that game in Toronto, I think the TF on the Toronto Furies logo is like modeled after the flag of Toronto. I'm not sure. I saw a flag that had that similar look to it. So, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, I just hope it's a good name. You know, the NWHL has had some originality in their team names, like the Buffalo Buttes. I like that one. That was kind of a unique name. The Minnesota Whitecaps, they have a cool jersey. You know.
Yeah.
Like the Riveters doesn't seem super imaginative, but you know it makes sense.
It's a strong play toward women's history. Rosie the River, and so on. Yeah, so that has some charm to it.
So yeah, I mean, definitely plenty of possibilities there, and we'll just have to see. They are like actually letting you guess what the team name is on the website, like, you know, for fun. Like you can even make art designs for it if you want to. So that's kind of a neat, fun idea. Another quick thing, I wonder like how much this will mean for like the college hockey players right now that are about to graduate, as Danny Ryland alluded to a few years ago. Like there's gonna be a lot of players graduating in Syracuse, as I mentioned earlier. They had a lot of Ontario players on their team, and Lindenwood has a lot of Ontario players. I think just like, man, I feel like. Do you think like people might be pushing and shoving to try to get on this team? Like, I mean, this it could be like a jam-packed team like the Whitecaps, where, you know, the Whitecaps, like everybody who seemed to want to join that team too. And I think they were the only team that filled up their roster for this season, like at the beginning of the season. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be a tough team to crack?
It's hard to say because, as we quote before, Minnesota is literally the state of hockey itself. Hockey is religion down there. I mean, obviously it is in Canada also, but at the same time, will it pull in the same crowd or the same fan base like they do in Toronto, or would they like more classics, having seeing more classic players per se, such as the Olympians, the star college athletes? We don't know, but the fact is, we have a handful of familiar faces, but I'm only imagining being such a new team, it's going to be full of fresh faces that, again, a lot of people have never heard about, or only the close-knit community of those specific colleges per se will not know of. But again, I'm open to the ideas, and I hope to spark something new and interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, as we said about all the other things, like there's a lot of possibilities, but yeah, I feel like in the same way that Minnesota had a lot of people trying to get on the team, I feel like this would be the same for the Toronto team as well. Like, especially since you had two in the CWHL, you had Markham, which used to be Brampton. You had Markham and also Toronto Fury. So you had two teams, and then of course, yeah, it is Toronto. It's the big city GTA, and yeah, I mean, even without the Olympians, it's like this is going to be like it's probably going to be a loaded team. You know, that's my best guess there. So yeah, that should be a fun free agency summer for the new Toronto team.
The faces there, but again, it's endless possibilities at this point, and I'm excited to see a new team add to the mix, and hopefully in my area, the states, New England, or which pretty much borders the board to Canada. Hopefully that'll get more states in New England, more areas in Canada also on boat. And I would like to see this league grow, and also grow on both ends.
Yeah, you know, and I loved going to I loved visiting Toronto just for, you know, it was for the rivalry series, and it was mainly for the rivalry series was the trip. There was a game in Toronto and then in Detroit, and also a game in London before all that. But I thought, oh man, there might be a Furies home game or something, and I found one, so I was like, yeah, I'll go to that Furies game, and it was just a good time, you know, hitting up I don't know if they're going to be playing in that same arena. It was the arena the facility they played in was the MasterCard Center, and that was in Etobicoke, and there was a Tim Hortons in walking distance, as you would expect. But yeah.
Yeah.
I liked that arena, and I don't know if I mean, I guess there's probably plenty of facilities in Toronto, but I don't know. Of course, since with my experience, I hope the NWHL team plays there, but I guess there's a lot of possibilities. And otherwise, it was interesting. I saw the PWHPA kind of released a thing that said, don't look at this as us versus them or something like that, which I liked seeing that, because there was a couple of times where certain players like would retweet things that, you know, let's say it was like throwing shade at the NWHL. You know, sometimes where like players retweeting like something Ty Domi says or something, I don't know. And like, obviously we know the NWHL isn't the perfect league, but you know, I guess it still is a pro league any way you slice it. It's just not.
Yeah.
I kind of remember when some like NHL writer said something like the Toronto Marlies being like the first Toronto team to win a championship since however long, and people got mad because the Toronto Furies won a championship. So yeah, the people got mad because the Toronto Furies won in 2014, and the guy, I think it was James Myrtle, he said he responded to the people. He said, "Oh well, the Furies weren't a pro team back then because they weren't paying players," and people got mad. You know, a lot of people got mad about that. And I know Markham won a championship too. I don't know how they factor into that, but anyway, so then I think Ty Domi was like saying, he was like getting, you know, doing what Ty Domi does and getting in fights with fans, but you know, this time it was social media feuds, and he was like, oh yeah, just because they pay people doesn't mean it's a pro league or whatever, and like, so, and then I think not a lot of players, but several PWHPA players even retweeted that, like, I don't know. So stuff like that will make it seem like there is a us versus them mentality. But yeah, and at the end of the day, though, I don't want to see it that way either. I just want to see like however the PWHPA can help and however the NWHL can help. You know, that's what we all want to see.
What do both leagues want? They want to spread the love of hockey and make it a livable situation for the people running it, the people playing it, and also for the fan base. But who's got the perfect answer. Neither side has the perfect answer, unfortunately.
Correct.
Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, and the CWHL didn't have the perfect answer either, and unfortunately they folded. We obviously we would have all wanted to see them come together, but yeah, we didn't.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I would have loved to see nothing more than that.
We all mourned when the CWHL was dropped, and I'm just hoping there's nobody. I hope the same would happen in case the NWHL were to fold. I hope people would see that as a bad thing, because it would be a bad thing, and we don't want that to happen. I wouldn't want anybody to celebrate that, and there's no reason to celebrate
the long-term repercussions of it, because all of a sudden sponsors that sponsored those leagues before, they'll have second thoughts. So, do I want to sponsor this new thing? It didn't work with the CWHL, and if it didn't work with the NWHL, I'd say it'll be dark times for women's hockey.
Yeah, and hopefully, hopefully they just keep going. Because this is like, PWHP is getting their kind of sponsors, and NWHL is getting their kind of sponsors. So hopefully it all just keeps going, and hopefully both organizations make strides. Yeah,
or even out of the blue, if say sponsors will come together and say, you know what, you guys, if you merge together, we can give you this kind of support or these kind of resources, rather than having staff and diluting resources here to support this side here. They can come together and then maybe come to an agreement. That'd be a wonderful outcome.
Right. So yeah, I mean, otherwise, I did see a player. I saw a player like tweet out a bunch of like laughing hysterically emojis, and after the announcement happened, like, I thought that was kind of funny. Like, who knows what that might mean? It was a PWHPA player. Like, I know usually we'll see Hillary Knight tweet something out, like, for instance, like during the boycott against USA thing before Worlds that one year, like, she tweeted out LOL, I think, and that was supposed to be like, she didn't tweet it out as a direct response, but it was just like a general response to whatever USA Hockey's proposals were. So yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's interesting to see what players will tweet out about it, like. But yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, the majority of everybody wants that nobody's like wants to destroy each other or tarnish, sabotage each other. I think we just want to see the game grow, and like however we get there is however we get there. I guess it's like probably you can drive down a business district or whatever and see all these companies, like these big corporations. It's like, well, how did that corporation begin? Was it all sunshine and butterflies, or were there like hardships and all that? Yeah. So with hockey leagues like this, we're watching. We get to see that all happen, because we're fans. So nothing's ever going to be sunshine and butterflies, but hopefully one way or the other, the PWHPA, hopefully positive comes out of that. Hopefully positive comes out of the NWHL, and of course, like for me, it's the St. Louis and like new facilities, like the new Maryland Heights facility or the new Chesterfield Valley facility, the Centene and the Maryville University rinks, respectively. We got, when you have new rinks being built and all that stuff, like that helps. And of course, when like Boston wins a cup or when St. Louis wins a cup, like all the hockey in the area has a surge, and the Blues Cup came at the same time as the new arena. So like, any new facilities, new developments, that is what we are looking for. We want to see innovation, breaking barriers, all that stuff. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Being in the Boston area myself, again, we have some of the best Ivy League schools who are the biggest lovers of hockey. Yale hockey, Northeastern, Harvard. Just name a handful off the top of my head. Yeah. Well, otherwise, I think that about wraps it up for now. We'll definitely see where this we'll see where this goes, and we'll see how it all unfolds. But either way, like I said, it's kind of hard. It's a little bit harder to watch the NWHL without the Olympians, but with stuff like this, their new Twitch deal from this season, and now they have a new expansion team. It's like that. That's definitely gonna just get not just people more interested in the NWHL, but just the women's hockey world in general. So just whatever new things get built, that's always good in my book. We're all ready to see where it goes. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, otherwise, this has been me, Brandon McLaughlin, with Raymond Chiu, also known as the Way Fun Guy.
we're big women's hockey fans. We recorded a podcast, and that's how it went down. You know, it's good to do podcasting again. So yeah, take care, stay safe during the COVID times, or whatever. And just like the women's hockey world, just keep prancing about, keep on rolling. For sure.
All right,
man.
Take care.
Take care.